History is full of shadows. Behind every monument, every old house, every forgotten battlefield, there are stories that were never meant to be told. Tonight, we're diving into the darker corners of history, the kind of stories that make you question how much of the past still lingers in the present. So, turn off the lights, put on your headphones, and get ready. Because once you hear these tales, you'll never look at history the same way again. Our story begins in Strasbourg, July 1518. It started with one woman. Frau Trophea stepped into the streets and began to dance. There was no music, no festival, just a strange, jerking rhythm, as if something unseen was pulling her body like a puppet. She danced for hours, then for days, and soon, others joined. Within a week, dozens of townspeople were writhing and spinning in the streets. Their feet bled, their bodies collapsed from exhaustion. Yet still, they danced. Some danced themselves to death. Was it mass hysteria? Poisoned bread infected with ergot fungus, a natural hallucinogen? Or was it something far darker, an unseen force that fed on chaos? The city tried everything: musicians, priests, even isolation. Nothing worked. The dance spread like a curse. For centuries, historians debated what caused it, but no one can truly explain why an entire town became possessed by movement, until death. Fast forward to 1959, in the snowy Ural Mountains of Russia. 9 experienced hikers set out on an expedition. They never returned. When search teams arrived, they found the hikers' tent ripped open from the inside, as if they had cut their way out in sheer panic. The bodies were scattered across the mountainside, half dressed in the freezing cold. Some were barefoot in the snow, others had broken bones, but with no external injuries, as if they were crushed by an invisible force. One woman was missing her tongue. Radiation was detected on their clothing. Strange orange lights were seen in the sky the night they died. To this day, the Dyatlov Pass incident remains unsolved. Avalanche, military testing, or something not of this world. Every time you look at those photographs, the frozen bodies, the shredded tent, you can't help but wonder what terrified them so much that they ran into the dark, knowing they'd never survive. December 1872. The Atlantic Ocean. A British ship, the Dei Gratia, spotted a vessel drifting aimlessly. It was the Mary Celeste. When they boarded her, they found everything intact. Cargo untouched, supplies stocked, and no signs of struggle. But the entire crew was gone. Vanished. There were no distress calls, no damage. Meals had been left half-eaten, as if the sailors simply stood up, mid-bite, and disappeared. Theories range from pirates to mutiny to sea monsters, but none explain the eerie calmness of the scene. The Mary Celeste remains the most famous maritime mystery in history, a ghost ship with no answers, only questions. And if you've ever been out at sea, staring at the endless horizon, you know how unsettling the thought is. What if the ocean takes what it wants? Not all haunted places are ancient ruins. Some were built by design. In San Jose, California, stands a sprawling, labyrinth-like mansion with 160 rooms, staircases that lead to nowhere, and doors that open into solid walls. It was built by Sarah Winchester, widow of the man who invented the Winchester rifle, the gun that won the West and killed countless people. Sarah believed she was cursed. She was convinced the spirits of those killed by the Winchester rifle would haunt her forever. Unless she kept building. So she never stopped. Day and night for 38 years, construction continued. Workers built rooms, tore them down, built again. The house grew stranger with every turn, as if it was meant to trap ghosts inside. Visitors claimed to hear whispers, footsteps, and doors slamming by themselves. Some say Sarah never left, that her spirit still wanders her maze, forever trying to outwit the ghosts of her family's fortune. Let's go back to London, the year 1665. The Great Plague was tearing through the city. Entire families were locked in their homes to die. Men called plague doctors walked the streets in terrifying beaked masks filled with herbs to block the stench of death. But the mask didn't save them. More than 100,000 people perished. The dead were buried in pits, sometimes still alive when the dirt covered them. Today, Londoners whisper that on quiet nights, you can still hear the cries coming from beneath the ground. Some alleys, they say, are haunted by shadows wearing those long, bird-like masks. Not every ghost wears chains. Some wear the uniform of medicine. History isn't just dates and battles in dusty textbooks. It breathes, it lingers, and sometimes it follows us. From dancers who couldn't stop, to hikers who ran from the unseen, to ships without crews and houses built for the dead, our past is soaked with stories that defy explanation. Maybe these tales are warnings. Maybe they're just echoes. Or maybe the past is never really past at all. So next time you walk into an old building or pass by a forgotten graveyard, ask yourself, what stories are still living there? And more importantly, which ones are waiting for you? If you enjoyed tonight's dive into history's darkest corners, hit that like button, subscribe for more, and tell me in the comments, which of these stories chilled you the most? Until next time, keep the lights on. You never know who or what might be watching from the shadows of history.